jurisdiction of the Ukraine government. He's setting up a rationale to take more territory by force, in my view. And if we listened to his speech last night, and many of you did, I know, he's setting up a rationale to go much further. This is the beginning of a Russian invasion of Ukraine, as he indicated and asked permission to be able to do from his Duma. So let's begin to, I'm going to begin to impose sanctions in response far beyond the steps we and our allies and partners implemented in 2014. And if Russia goes further with this invasion, we stand prepared to go further as with sanctions. Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law, and it demands a firm response from the international community. Over the last few months, we've coordinated closely with our NATO allies and partners in Europe and around the world to prepare that response. We've said all along, and I've told Putin to his face more than a month ago, that we would act together. And the moment Russia moved against Ukraine, Russia has now undeniably moved against Ukraine by declaring these independent states. So today, I'm announcing the first tranche of sanctions to impose costs on Russia in response to their actions yesterday. These have been closely coordinated with our allies and partners, and will continue to escalate sanctions if Russia escalates. We're implementing full blocking sanctions on two large Russian financial institutions, VEB and their military bank. We're implementing comprehensive sanctions on Russian sovereign debt. That means we've cut off Russia's government from Western financing. It can no longer raise money from the West and cannot trade in its new debt on our markets or European markets either. Starting tomorrow and continuing in the days ahead, we'll also impose sanctions on Russia's elites and their family members. They share in the corrupt gains of the Kremlin policies and should share in the pain as well. And because of Russia's actions, we've worked with Germany to ensure Nord Stream 2 will not, as I promised, will not move forward. As Russia contemplates its next move, we have our next move prepared as well. Russia will pay an even steeper price if it continues its aggression, including additional sanctions. The United States will continue to provide defensive assistance to Ukraine in the meantime, and will continue to reinforce and reassure our NATO allies. Today, in response to Russia's admission that it will not withdraw its forces from Belarus, I have authorized additional movements of U.S. forces and equipment already stationed in Europe to strengthen our Baltic allies, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Let me be clear, these are totally defensive moves on our part. We have no intention of fighting Russia. We want to send an unmistakable message, though, that the United States, together with our allies, will defend every inch of NATO territory and abide by the commitments we made to NATO. We still believe that Russia is poised to go much further in launching a massive military attack against Ukraine. Hope I'm wrong about that, hope we're wrong about that, but Russia has only escalated its threat against the rest of Ukrainian territory, including major cities and including the capital city of Kyiv. There are still well over 150,000 Russian troops surrounding Ukraine. And as I said, Russian forces remain positioned in Belarus to attack Ukraine from the north, including warplanes and offensive missile systems. Russia's moved troops closer to Ukraine's border with Russia. Russia's naval vessels are maneuvering in the Black Sea to Ukraine's south, including amphibious assault ships, missile cruisers, and submarines. Russia's moved supplies of blood and medical equipment into position on their border. You don't need blood unless you plan on starting a war. Over the last few days, we've seen much of the playbook that Secretary Blinken laid out last week in the United Nations Security Council come to pass. A major increase in military provocations and false flag events along the line of contact in the Donbass. Dramatically staged, conveniently on-camera meeting of Putin's Security Council to grandstand for the Russian public. And now, political provocation of recognizing sovereign Ukrainian territory as so-called independent republics in clear violation, again, of international law. President Putin has sought authorization from the Russian parliament to use military force outside of Russian territory. And this set the stage for further pretexts of further provocations by Russia to try to justify further military action. None of us should be fooled. None of us will be fooled. There is no justification. Further Russian assault in Ukraine remains a severe threat in the days ahead. And if Russia proceeds, it is Russia and Russia alone that bears the responsibility. As we respond, my administration is using every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers from rising prices at the pump. As I said last week, defending freedom will have cost for us as well and here at home. We need to be honest about that. But as we do this, I'm going to take robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at the Russian economy, not ours. We're closely monitoring energy supplies for any disruption. We're executing a plan in coordination with major oil-producing consumers and producers toward a collective investment to secure stability in global energy supplies. This will blunt gas prices. I want to limit the pain the American people are feeling at the gas pump. This is critical to me. In the last few days, I've been in constant contact with European leaders, including with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Vice President Harris met in person with the leaders in Germany over the weekend at the Munich conference, including President Zelensky. At every step, we have shown the United States and our allies and partners are working in unison, which he hasn't been counting on, Mr. Putin. We're united in our support of Ukraine. We are united in our opposition to Russian aggression. And we're united in our resolve to defend our NATO alliance. And we're united in our understanding of the urgency and seriousness of the threat Russia is making to global peace and stability. Yesterday, the world heard clearly the full extent of Vladimir Putin's twisted rewrite of history, going back more than a century, as he waxed eloquently, noting that, well, I'm not going to go into it, but nothing in Putin's lengthy remarks indicate any interest in pursuing real dialogue on European security in the year 2022. He directly attacked Ukraine's right to exist. He indirectly threatened territory formerly held by Russia, including nations that today are thriving democracies and members of NATO. He explicitly threatened war unless his extreme demands were met. And there is no question that Russia is the aggressor. So we're clear-eyed about the challenges we're facing. Nonetheless, there is still time to avert the worst-case scenario that will bring untold suffering to millions of people if they move as suggested. The United States and our allies and partners remain open to diplomacy if it is serious. But when all is said and done, we're going to judge Russia by its actions, not its words. And whatever Russia does next, we're ready to respond with unity, clarity, and conviction. We'll probably have more to say about this as it moves on. I'm hoping diplomacy is still available. Thank you all very much.
Sir, are you still open to meeting with Vladimir Putin, sir?
What is up, everyone? Please take a second to hit that like button. The more likes that we get in a short period of time, the more people the algorithm will bring into the chat to come hang out with us and see what's going on. So hit that like button, let me know how it's going. So let's get ready for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I assume Jen Balsacki will be on stage pretty much immediately. She was supposed to be on stage 2 minutes ago. Man, Walter was supposed to be on stage an hour and a half ago. So we're going to squeeze this in here just like she likes it. All right. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
JeffMAC.
Oh, I think they just pressed it back. They've been messing with the schedule all day today. Yeah, they just pressed it back. It was pressed it instead of pushed it. Yeah, so she's no longer on stage at 2:30. She won't be on stage till 4:45 now. Old Man Walter's supposed to be jumping back on stage for a roundtable on securing critical minerals for a future made in America. So it sounds like steel and oil and stuff. But anyways, that's at 3:30, which is in an hour, plus however long he's late. And then at 4:45, I guess we'll be covering the press briefing. So I guess let's see if any of the truckers are live. Just give me a moment. Alright, well, I'm not seeing much going on. I guess we could at least do a quick little update. Let me read through the chat here. I haven't even been able to look at it yet. What's up, Terry? What's up, Snow Possum? What's up, Smokey? What do you mean it's on delay? Why do people think that Old Man Walter has a stutter? He ain't had a stutter the last 40 years. He was sitting over there at the White House and Congress and all that crap, and all of a sudden he's got a stutter and people believe it. Very little faith in weak minds. What's up, Shane? What's up, Combat Vet? You guys are cracking me up. Dan Page, did you get your car fixed? All right. Well, I guess we'll just get this started. So yesterday I had to go to the doctor at like 8:15, try and get paperwork saying I need a ESA, an emotional support animal, so I can have a cat in my house. And they told me it was originally going to take three different office visits to go ahead and get that done. I informed them that's not how it was going to go. Once they got in that little room with me, they came to terms with that's not something they want to do 3 times. So they gave me what I wanted. As far as I know, the papers filled out correctly. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why the title says that. I don't know, YouTube nonsense. JB. Anyways, so got the paperwork, left the place. Car's making loud noise, overheating severely. I also needed an oil change and my headlight was blown out for whatever reason. So I called the tow truck. They picked it up. Tow truck can't give me a ride home. Had to walk home. So 2 hours walking in 23-degree weather with lots of wind. Wasn't too bad. My face is like really wind burned. My legs and stuff are all like chafed or whatever from walking with cold wet jeans. Whatever. Made it home. Wasn't much going on. We didn't end up going live. The truckers are assembling about 40 minutes outside of Ottawa. They have a camp going. I can't pronounce the name, but I did write it out on Twitter and all of that stuff. I'm trying to inform you guys on what I'm seeing. They're supposed to be live today. Apparently they're not live yet because I'm not seeing any live streams, but I guess it is a sensitive area, so they don't want camera people there. They don't want to be documented and stuff like that, but they do encourage truckers to meet up. There was quite a few vehicles there and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll be able to cover that at some point today. I thought they would be live right now, but that is not the case. So that's going on. There was talk of truckers going to Quebec. If they are there, they don't have intentions of staying there. According to those live streamers, they were saying this weekend they will no longer be in Quebec. They're going to be leaving. I'm trying to think. There's another location where the truckers plan on going. Alberta. The truckers plan on going to Alberta, I guess. So we will see how that goes. I keep hearing things about U.S. convoy. Not real sure about that. I have seen one or two live streams, but they're just driving down the road, so I don't know if it's actual convoy stuff or if they're just like trying to get support as they drive down the road for delivering their deliveries, right? Like nothing says that they're actually a part of a convoy. It could be some foolery. We'll see how it goes. It'll be hard to tell until it actually kicks off, till the whole nation kicks off. So I am keeping an eye on that. Today my friend picked me up, was like, hey, let's go to McDonald's. You don't have a car. I don't have nothing to do. We get to McDonald's. Fucking car breaks down. So I was stranded again today, and I had to walk home again today. So I'm never leaving my house again. I am never going outside again. I'm going to have to get like, Oculus or virtual reality, because if I go outside, everybody's car is going to break down apparently. So that's happened. Trying to think what else is on the list. Minnesota had a rally yesterday for Amir Locke. It was also in relation to Kim Potter sentencing deal. They also brought up Patrick Kimmons. So there was some activity yesterday, but they weren't marching in the streets. There wasn't anything crazy going on, people breaking windows, no chanting or anything like that. Yeah, so we will be looking for that kind of stuff too. But at this point, I don't think there's anything to cover until the White House stuff starts. Let me pull that back up. Yeah, so the next thing is Old Man Walter at the round table talking about whatever he's going to be stammering about at 3:30, which is a little less than an hour from now. So we'll be covering that. Hopefully around then we'll get some trucker live feeds and we can keep track of what's going on there. There was people walking around in Ottawa yesterday, but there's like nothing going on. Like the truckers have all left. The protesters are pretty much gone. I seen that there was some flag waving going on the outside of Ottawa, but they were playing music and stuff, so we would have basically been sitting there watching a muted live with people standing there waving flags, which we may cover today, but that's pretty much all that was going on as far as Ottawa. Yesterday, like I said, they pretty much moved outside of Ottawa, about 40 minutes away at some location that I posted on Twitter and YouTube and Gab and Getter and in the Discord and everywhere I could post it, whatever that name of that city is. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. Either way, pretty much got you guys up to date at this point. I'll be seeing you in about an hour with Old Man Walter and his nonsense. We'll be covering Jen Balsacki, and we're going to be looking for truckers as well as any kind of civil unrest going on in Minnesota or anywhere else in the country. And hopefully I see you guys there. Thank you so much for joining me on this very short live. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Big shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership program, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you, and I wouldn't be able to do this without you. So thank you so much for being with me. I'll see you on the next live. And until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.